Coke is investing, I believe it's $3 billion in the U.S. this year alone, $4 billion in China over the next 3 years. You're doubling the investment in China that you made in 2009. I'm wondering when, if it's a when and not just an if, China will overtake the U.S. as your biggest market, and also the important point that you often make that it is not a zero-sum game when it comes to China.
It isn't a zero-sum game at all when it comes to China. I think we all have to have a keener focus on free trade and developing free trade, because it's good for jobs in the United States, it's good for jobs in China, and that's what we've been saying. I've been saying as the head of the U.S.-China Business Council, that is an imperative. And I think that essentially we, as you mentioned, our investments in China and the United States, we feel still confident about the world. That's why we have earmarked $30 billion of investments across the world in the next 5 years, and that's how we'll generate jobs.
Does China overtake the United States in the near term as your biggest market?
I don't think it's right to say this is when China overtakes. I think with over 1 billion consumers, our business is about consumers, about people. Naturally, there will come a time when China will become bigger than it is today, but it's not a zero-sum game, and as long as we can continue to grow in the United States, in Western markets, as well as in emerging markets, which is our plan, which what our vision calls for, I think then we will be able to create growth and jobs in every market where we operate.
Is there a regulation in the United States right now that you can pinpoint that you say hampers growth and therefore job creation in this country?
I think we need a 21st century tax policy. But many other things as well. But I'd say we need an overhaul of our tax policy to be more competitive, to be meet the needs of the 21st century.
Given that, and given the election year that we are in, can Washington get anything, especially as monumental as that, done this year?
I think we'll all have to see. But I do truly believe that there's an increasing understanding of the need for that, as well as an overhaul of many other systems in the country, but I'm still very confident about our future in the United States, because the United States has by far the best demographics. We're a growing nation. We have corrected our fiscal situation quicker and better than most people gave us credit for in the last 2 years, and I think that's why we're beginning to see consumers that are feeling better about the future in the United States than they were 12 months ago.